Hello. Today we'll be talking a bit, not that much, but how are you doing? Hey, I was realizing that my mic was turned off. I was actually talking, but you didn't heard me. Is it better like this? Giving you some tips and things like this. Was fighting with perspective for the last one, trying to get it right. Which is something pretty hard to do. By the way, I'm using references for those ones from the Senshai Stock Gallery on DeviantArt. A lot of good photos there. Trying to add a bit more character to the pose. It's pretty hard, but anyway, that's how we get better, I think, in drawing. I'm actually using Krita, and a good brush that I like that comes with Krita for free, called the Ink 7 brush rough. Okay, let's do another one. Krita, like this. It's free and open source. You don't have to pay anything, though it will help the development, but you're welcome to use it for free and to even develop. If you are a developer, you can contribute to the software, which is always something that is welcome. I recently tried a software called how is it called? I recently discovered a free program called Tomaho or something like this. It is quite close to Flash. You can use it for free again. It's based on Ubuntu. It's called Toma. Let me launch it. I'll show you what it looks like. 3D and animation. Blender is nice too. Yes, Blender is perfect for 2D animation. Actually, it's perfect for me. But Tomaho looks like this. The cool thing, I think, is that you have access to new themes. And it looks really close to light there. It looks really close to Flash. And you can also change the icons, I hope. Tools, drawing, export, loading, interface, general. How do you change the icons to black? Small default automatic. Drawing, import, loading, visualization, light, function editor, general, Use default viewer, minimize raster. Where is it? Ink color transparency checks. Yeah, that's pretty. I hope you can change the loading column icons for visualization. Yeah, it's pretty hard. Oh, theme lights, but anyway, raster darken. No. Thumbnails view. Yeah, whatever. I'm going back to the dark themes, otherwise I won't see the icons there. So yes, basically it's a free 2D animation app based on OpenToons, very popular software that was used by Studio Ghibli and Futurama. And the cool thing is that you can add perspective grids. Oh, actually you cannot undo. Wow. This is going to be hard to undo. Okay, so I don't know how far is it from OpenToons, but oh, here you have the grid vanishing points. Goodbye. Yes. How do you remove the vanishing points? That's my question. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Let's do something. Let's do a simple head turn. So you have onion skinning there. And the cool thing is that you can also do onion skinning, but without something linked to the timeline. So here in this case, my frame is still there and it will always be there. So that's pretty cool. I don't know why no other software thought about this. So the only thing is that I don't know how to zoom. I don't want to do this each time, so I'm gonna look how to do that later. But anyway, now that I have my end frame, I can start designing my first frame. It's going to have more volume from the back, so I'm going to do this. Oh, I press B. And okay. So here's the ear, approximately something like this. It's been a long time I didn't animate in 2D. volume in the back and the neck. Let's do something a bit more interesting like this. So for a head turn, you always have in the middle, you always have a tone pose. So this is going to be my interval, like this. And I'm going to favor the opening, even though it's too much. Something like this. It's going to be much more subtle. Let's do the blink. Yeah, my volumes are totally messed up. So I don't know if it's quite strange having the it's quite strange having the play bar not added. It's quite strange having the play bar not linked to the spacebar, but anyway. That's just a try. I don't know the software that much, so I think there is much more to it. The brush is feeling pretty cool, though. But I would love to learn more shortcuts. I just downloaded it right before the live. I wasn't going to show it in the live, however. Yeah, one day I need to do more 2D animation. Anyway, quit anyway. Let's go back to the live. I was going to do some other poses. Which one I'm gonna do? Okay. I have a challenging one there. I like when there's challenge and when studying. Okay. So this is the line of action. this pose. Something, let's push it even more. Something like this. So I have the chests in this direction. And I'm going to construct my drawing a lot more this time. So this is the pelvis. Here I'm going to add the first leg with an ovoid shape. So the ovoid shape is all around the place in drawing the human figure. It's something like this, the ovoid shape. It looks like an egg where you favor one. So basically you can do an ellipse like this, you can do a circle like this, sorry, but you can also do an egg shape. So the egg shape, the difference between the egg shape and the ellipse or the circle is that you are favoring one angle. Like this is the widest part, this is the shortest part, and the ellipse is homogeneous, meaning that something like this here, you are favoring the silhouette there. So this is the difference between creating a stiff cylinder for the leg and creating and adding the actual anatomy indications like this. As you can see, it's more organic like this, but you can still start with a cylinder. For instance, let's do a leg going in this direction, so you can see that it's a bit stiff. I'm going to add contour line there. It's a bit stiff, but after that, if you're conscious of the fact that it's stiff, you can still add the ovoid shape on top of that, meaning that you will be able to correct the volumes. But for doing that, you need to study a little bit of anatomy, knowing where the shapes are going to stand. Whoa. That's not that great, but I think you get the point. Anyway, it's the more important stuff is not anatomy, it's not structure, it's gesture. It's even more important than everything else. So due to perspective, it's going to go in this direction, and it's going to fade out like this. There's probably an imaginary point right there, a vanishing point, sorry. Not going to see the arm there, but it's still there. And now I can start to add more shapes on top of that. Here, adding more volumes right there. The legs are a bit long, but I think it can work. I'm going to extend a bit the foot. So control lines are pretty important too, as you will often see in professional drawings. They are dictating where the forms are going to. So in this case, it kind of indicates that the arm is bending toward there and then going back in front there. With this simple method of constructing and doing the gesture, you can then add any character that you want on top of it. So for instance, we are going to, let's imagine that we are doing Rapunzel from Disney. The only thing I will have to do is to correct the proportions. So in this case, I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to stylize the arms a bit more, doing a more, how can I say, a more stylizing work, basically, yes. And then I'm going to add a more cartoony shape to the skull, like this. And then adding, following the perspective line, I'm going to add, so this is something that I had a long time figuring out. Sorry. I always thought that when drawing a head from below, and this was for me a big revelation when I discovered that I was doing it very, very wrong. So when you're designing a head from below, I always thought that this line was wrapping around like this, but in fact it's more like this rather than like this, or rather than rotating around. And this was for me something huge when I discovered that I could quickly imply the perspective by doing straight lines like this. So now with my straight lines, it's much easier to, you see, I'm really like doing straight lines, not. So for the mouth it's a bit different because the mouth is not that straight, but you can see that it works much better than if I were doing something like this with the eyes being rotated like this. If you see what I mean. This works better. It's more design-wise at least, it works better for me. Okay, so we were going for a Disney character there. So the mouth is very full and quite small compared to other Disney princess. So the ear is pretty low now because of the perspective. And the hairs are pretty darn long. And you have something like this going on. So the chest, of course, in this situation is too long, but whatever. We're going to do a more realistic Rapunzel. And you see, you can even push the shapes a bit more, making it a more stylized drawing like this. And I can even, I think I cannot scale the no, I won't scale the head because with the perspective it's going back, but I'm going to shift a bit the head from this perspective. I was pretty sure it was wrong, and I can here I can add the face like that. And now I'm going to add the eyes. So of course, in this case, the eyes are going to follow the perspective. So I'm going to emphasize the perspective there. So now if I need to clean this, I have all my roadmap if you want to. And I followed my reference, and here I'm going to basically to clean. Eyes should be a bit bigger, pupil too, so I'm adding a bit more pupil here. Neck could be a bit shorter, and now I'm going to shorten the limbs a bit too, and I'm going to introduce more subtle shapes for the fingers. And I'm going to try to remove a bit of volume from the rib cage to adapt to the character even more. So here is the trapezius muscle and a little bit of the trapezius muscle behind, but I'm going to make the breast a bit higher. And now I'm going to combine shapes. It's not the correct proportions for sure, but it can work, I think, too. So here, in fact, the torso is much more stretched like this, giving the character more, I'm gonna say more thrust in the body. Thrust, sorry. So here we have the thumb doing a weird gesture like this. I'm going to put that a bit higher like this, and maybe scale it down a bit with the perspective. It's not that visible, and I've made the legs a bit long too, but again, that's because I've started with a different different proportions. My sketch. I was just trying to explain how to adapt a character pose on model. I can even make the leg a bit higher like this. So you can see that it's possible to actually do that, even though it should be even tighter here. You know what? I'm going to change the rib cage a bit like this. Therefore, I'm going to bring the arm a bit more toward the inside, and I'm going to open the arm again, and here I'm going to put the serratus muscles like that, and this is going to work, I think. And now the cool thing is that after having a sketch like this, I can remove the sketch below, can add back my midline to have even more volume. I know that here I will have the external obliques, but in the original concept of Glenkin, it's more like a S line like this. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to push the breast a bit higher like this. And now I will add add, sorry, not without an H. I will add a close on top of that. So as far as the clothes are, I think they are something like this, with a design like this. They're following pretty darn close the shapes there. With the perspective, it's more going like this. Still, my character is too large, but anyway. And then so with gravity, it's probably going, the tension points are probably going to pull the closest like this. Closes are pretty hard to do too, so, and everything in drawing is hard to do. Like when it is something related to organic shapes, it's always hard. Hands are pretty hard. Of course, bodies are pretty hard. But with patience, you can get to some points. I won't say incredible results, but you can get to somewhere. I think no. She has pretty long hands and very skinny hands. And here it's very wrong compared to, it should wrap around like this. This is going to be much more logical. Here we can add some folds. Or you know what? Maybe we can just do like the pants of Yasmin and Aladdin. We can do something very big there. Trying to find gravity in the clothes is hard, really hard. Note it is pushing like this and it's going up. Okay, here you can see that I'm missing a bit of anatomy indications. And again, I should probably make the eyes a bit wider. So it's not very close to the character, but yeah, let's say it's a new one. So often I see like this line under the head. It's pretty hard to make it not looking weird. Hence the fact that sometimes I'm just closing the head like this, or I'm just doing nothing, letting the viewer feel the page. Or sometimes an indication of a shadow can do the trick too. But here I'm going to let something like this. And I'm going to okay. I'm going to just add some indication of the jaw here to give more indications. Okay. So maybe the breast is a bit too big. Here, maybe something like this will be more subtle. So yeah. This one was my last one. I'm just going to conclude. I'm going to give you some more tips that maybe can help you. Again, one thing to note is that I'm constantly learning. I'm as usual, if you want to draw better, I'm not by any means saying that I'm good at drawing, because I have so many things to learn and to practice. It's a constant fight, I would say. Drawing is fighting against the page. But it's a good fight. It's like giving life to characters is a very good fight. But it's quite hard. For the thumb, one thing that I learned that was pretty cool is just doing a lemon shape like you do a lemon shape. Like let's say that you have a hand like this with the index finger pointing down like this and other fingers like this. If you want to add the thumb, you can just bring a line and add a lemon shape like this, and you will have a quick articulated hand, like a quick way to draw the hand for a storyboard or even a stylized drawing like this. It's not perfect again, but it's, you know, one thing that I can say is that when you draw, you have tons of tips in your head from tutorials, from books, from like people, art teachers and things like this. And you are constantly juggling with those tips, and you are replacing the bad ones with good ones, with ones that works better, ones that are working better, sorry. And that's true for a lot of things, at least in art, music, programming, everything that I'm doing has a passion and a work too, and a job, sorry, as when trying to improve, it's always the same thing. You improve your toolbox with new tools and new techniques. You need to know also when to erase and restart. So here I'm erasing in order to do a better job. And I think it's because I'm talking a lot. I think I'm gonna simplify it like this. I'm liking it more. And adding a more strong shape for a thumb. So with subtle lines you can also indicate perspective. I really encourage you to look at people, artists like Glenn Keane, Jim Kim. They are the best artists at the absolute living masters for doing those kinds of character shapes. Okay, so one thing that I really like to do also is to simply put a gray silhouette behind my characters, my quick sketches. This helps me figuring out if the shape is readable, even though it's something that you should do right at the beginning. But this helps at the end sell the drawing a bit better. I always thought that. And it's also a good start for painting if you need a flat to start your paintings, then you already have one with your sketches. So it takes a bit of time, but it's okay. And it helps you review your drawing too. You can see the negative shapes here. Helping sell the different perspective planes. In characters like this, it's hard not to overlap some shapes and make the drawing or the pose not readable. But I think here it's kind of okay. It's not perfect, of course, but at least the accessories and the clothes are readable, I think. And one thing that I can do is I can select the outline, go back to my gray layer, and I can paint everything. Meaning that my flat will include the the line work, as you can see. So I think that with the silhouettes you can read, you kind of can read the silhouettes. It's not perfect, of course. In my reference, for this character, the leg was more like this. It's a bit better, I think. I will have done that. I would have redone that. I'm going to group my both of my layers. I'm going to try to adjust that on the fly like this to see if I can do it. Let's look at that. Is it possible? Is it better? No, it's not better. So okay, I'm going to let it like this, and next time fix it. I'm going also to enable lock transparency, and I'm going to add a very rough lighting. That's the cool part with this method, is that now that you have a flat, you can easily add a lighting on top of your shapes. And be reassured with one thing: you don't have to make a perfect lighting. It even doesn't have to be realistic. It's just the overall picture that needs to work. If it doesn't work, and that you have respect and your lighting is like perfectly scientifically correct, it doesn't matter at the end if your shapes are not reading well, then you better have to do a non-realistic lighting that helps reading the shapes and the character. I think I'm going not only to do that here too. What I'm doing here is what you will have to do when storyboarding. Or not have to, but sorry. It's what you do usually when storyboarding. You invent where the light is. So let's say that here the light is coming from the top, the back of the character. So you know that you will have, like this is going to be probably in shadow, the front part, like this. You can do it very roughly. Here everything is going to be in shadow, and if you have done a mistake, like it's my case here, you can see that I've put some parts in shadows where I shouldn't. It's okay, because you have your flat, your design as well established. You can go back later and add back your lights and remove and add and remove and add. It's very iterative. It's like sculpting your shapes. And this works, I think. So here, let me add the silhouette of the eye there. So if the light is coming from there, maybe I will get some lights from there. Here on the shoulder. Here I can do a rim light from the back. The foot on the top is going to receive light, probably. Here too. So here we're going to light directly from the front. So don't hesitate with a very strong brush to light. It's going to be fine. So here maybe I'm going to stop there. You can see that even with like very rudimentary shape, brush strokes, you can create interesting lightings. So here underneath the rest, like that. This is going to be in shadow here. Big shape, as you can see, I can do a big shape, this too. So here it's a bit different. You're going to have some lighting there, maybe. But it's going to turn into shadows right there approximately. So here we know that we have a shadow. And the head is casting a shadow there, maybe. Let's add some shadows in the back. Here too. Here we can add some lights because it's facing directly the light. And you know what? I'm going to rework a bit here my shapes that are a bit weird, because this is going very high and this should be too, or this is going to be a bit less high. Something like this works better in my point of view. Even though it's too much toward us. So the ribcage is more like this here. Yes. Okay, so adding back the shapes. It's very rudimentary, as you can see, but this is it. So again, one thing that it's important is to construct shapes, but it's more important to have the gesture right, rather than having very good shapes, volumes. So here I have my rib cage. The breasts are there, the opening of the eye with the head. This is a bit more tilted like this, in fact. Here I have the great trochanter, more in front, in fact, with the tibia, the patella, fibula, so with foreshortening here. So it's more important that at the end you see that in your drawing. Or something like this. Because this is like along with gesture, it's something important. So the gesture in this case will be probably something like this. This line with a simple indication of the masses. So this will be the gesture in this case, with a giant swoop like this. The gesture line will be something like this in this case. Rib cage, first leg, second leg, and here it will be more something like this, where the big line of this leg makes the rhythm. So yes, something like this will be the start. And then on top of that you formulate, meaning that you add form. You formulate, is the ribcage going in that direction? Is the ribcage going in that direction? If it's going there, then the pelvis is probably going there. In which direction is it going? Maybe you can like bend the character, and then it's going more like this. So if you have a leg pointing there, the other one could be pointing like this. Where is the head? Is it pointing like this? Where are the arms? Are they going there? Basically, in gestures, those 4 points are the most important, I would say. They connect, they create this shape. The floor sack. The animators usually are working a lot with this shape. The floor sack. That represents a torso. Those 2 points there are the great trochanter, the lower ones. And with this shape you can quickly create a stand pose, like this, as you can see. So here it radiates, like this, because you want to conserve the shape of the ribcage and the shape of the pelvis. Remember that the pelvis and the ribcage are solid forms. They won't bend. So this is the higher point, so it's the support leg. And this leg can do anything. Like it can go there, it can go there, can go there, can go there. Because the whole body is in equilibrium like this. If you add the head, let's say we add the head there, we can do something like this if we want. One thing that I'm trying to currently practice is having what artists call a general model. A general model is a model is like a basic stickman like this that you know by heart in terms of proportions, and that will help you to adjust according to the pose that you want to do. So yes, basically that's it. I hope this was interesting for you, and I will finish the live here, and I will see you later. Have a nice day. Cheers.